Hi everyone. I wanted to go through some of the fire starters that I use, and we're under a fire ban right now because it's been so dry in our area, so I have to do this in the garage. Some of these I really like using, the other ones I definitely do not. Well, they all have their pros and cons, I suppose. Let's start with the first one. Steel wool and a 9-volt battery. Catches no fire. Works out pretty well. What happens is all these little filaments get charged by the battery and they arc and catch them on fire. What a lot of people don't know, you can also just use a regular flint and steel with this and catches some fire as well. That actually works out pretty well. This one here is called the Light My Fire Scout version. Comes with this ferrocerium rod and this striker. The striker works out pretty well. It's thin. If you actually buy this, do not get rid of the striker. The striker works very good with this. A lot better than a knife. A lot better than anything else you can use for it. Next thing is my blast match. I've heard a lot of people say that you can't use these with one hand. You're supposed to be able to. This one is my old one, and it's pretty worn out. The spring is, so I can do it with one hand. The positive part about doing it with one hand is if you have an injury, you can still light a fire. This is a newer version, which the spring is pretty tough, but it takes some practice. You can do it with one hand. Lights up pretty good. The next one is this Strike Force. This is one of my favorites. You pull this apart. This slides into this crevice here. This actually throws out some pretty good sparks. I like that. Also, the lid comes off and it holds a wet fire, which I've done a video about before. I have done a video of before. Next is the Magnesium and Flint fire starter. These are commonly overlooked. You can buy these at Walmart, probably Meijer. They're in any place that has any kind of sporting goods. The hardest part about using this is you got to shave off some of this magnesium, and that's very time consuming. But if you can get enough off, obviously my video is not going to be long enough to do it, but if you can get enough of this off, it's a surefire way of making a fire, pun intended. But that makes sparks as well. Catching my thing on fire there. What I do when I get this, when I use this magnesium fire starter, it comes with this little, whatever they call these little keychain things with it. And I always add a knife, cheapo knife, the cheapest knife you can buy pretty much. That way I know I'll always have a striking surface with it And that's how I carry it, just like that. Lock blade knife attached to the fire starter. I have other fire starters, but these are by far my favorite. Now, a little more fun, a little chemistry. This is called Potassium Permanganate. Obviously it's a chemical, it looks kind of gritty, kind of looks like gunpowder. You mix that with glycerin. The glycerin you can get at Walmart, Myers, CVS, Walgreens. Potassium permanganate, however, you'll have to get at a fish store. They usually use it for fish that have a fungal disease or some sort of thing. This takes a few seconds to activate, but when it does, it goes up pretty well. All these kits you can get at normal, everyday, Dick's Sporting Goods, Gander Mountain, any of those regular sporting goods. Some of them I've actually found at Walmart and Myers. Obviously the battery and steel wool you can find anywhere. It's going to take off or what? I'm going to add a little more glycerin. This potassium permanganate's getting a little old, so it might not work as well as it used to. But wait for that to take off here. But you know, each person has their own way they like to make fire, has their own special fire kit. Just as long as you have one that you get proficient at, I think that's enough. I just like taking a lighter with me because I have nothing to prove to anybody. If I want to go all fancy, I can start a fire with wet fire and a couple sticks or whatever. But that's pretty much it. I was hoping this thing would take off before the video stopped. I had to go get my other supply of potassium permanganate and glycerin because I think that the other potassium permanganate was just getting old, so it didn't want to light properly. So I'm going to try this one and see if this works out a little better. Hopefully it does. When it does work, it's actually a pretty neat little experiment to do. It's not something I take on a regular basis, but it's fun. Just right in the middle of that glycerin. Let's see, I don't think I'm missing anything. There we go, it's going now. I think the other stuff was just a little old. There it goes, my little torch. You know, it's fun, it's not very practical to take. As far as I know, there's no harsh fumes that come off of it. But, you know, it's fun. And that's all I got. If I come up with anything else, I'll go ahead and make another video about it. So, feel free to watch my other videos. I'm going to be doing some more reviews shortly about certain knives, machetes, and things I have. So, that's it. Thank you.